Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I rise in the House today to honour the memory of all the women who have died as a result of violence in our province, our country, and around the world. Today, we commemorate Canada's National Day of Remembrance and Action on Violence Against Women. On this day, 28 years ago, 14 young female engineering students were murdered at l'École Polytechnique in Montreal. Many of us can remember exactly where we were when we heard the horrible news that these young students had been killed and that they were targeted simply because they were women and because they were feminists. Our nation still grieves for the victims, their families, friends, and communities. Earlier this morning, I attended the annual Sunrise Memorial in the Rotunda here at the Manitoba Legislative Building, hosted by the Manitoba Women's Advisory Council, and I thank all members of this Legislative Assembly who joined me. It was an opportunity to reflect on the tragedy of the Montreal Massacre and to also remember the Manitoba women whose lives have been tragically ended by acts of violence. Sadly, this year we commemorated 10 women who died as a result of violence in our province. 6 from 2017, and then another 4 not reported by the media or due to ongoing investigations in 2016. And sadly, as the issue of murdered and missing Indigenous women and girls is never far from our minds, we recognize the heartache the families feel, the mothers, the fathers, sisters, brothers, aunties, cousins, and loved ones. Earlier this year, I had the opportunity to spend some time listening to the heartbreaking testimony as the National Inquiry made its stop here in Winnipeg at the Delta Hotel, and it broke my heart listening to the stories of these families. I honor the courage and the bravery of all these families. While much has changed since that day in 1989, there is still much to be done. It is our collective responsibility as Manitobans to continue pushing ahead, and I encourage everyone to speak out and join the conversation online using the hashtag #SeekHelp and Speak Out to talk about how we can eliminate gender-based violence in all of our communities. Madam Speaker, I would also ask that following the statements by my colleagues that we observe a moment of silence to honor the women who lost their lives to violence 28 years ago in Montreal, and to remember and honor the 10 Manitoba women and girls, and to remember the lives of Manitoba's missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls and their families. Thank you.